I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. Today, I'm going to show you a quick and easy gift to make. You can use up some of those smaller scraps of paper. Thanks for joining me. This is what I'm showing you how to make today. These quick and easy little notebooks. They take little paper, a little bit of adhesive, and you have a great gift. I sell these at my market, and I sell a lot of them. Little kids buy them. Adults like to have them. You can use up your scraps of paper. Let me show you how easy these are to make. And these were all covered with scraps from current paper from Stampin' Up! As you can see, you can make the notebook look however you want it. Let's talk first about what you're going to need for this. I have it written out so you can do a screenshot, but I also have it linked to a blog post below, so you can do it that way. So for print paper, you need 2 pieces that are 3 by 4 3/4 and 1 piece that's 1 1/2 by 4 3/4. I use tear and tape, multi-purpose glue, and glue dots that I don't have down here. There we go. Good thing to check the blog. And then the base of this are mini composition books. There's all kinds of brands out there. Yeah, and sometimes before school starts, you can get a really good deal on them. So let's start. I have 2 sets of paper cut to my dimensions. And the reason I have 2 cut is it's easier, because we're using green glue and you want to give it a second to set up, to start one, move on to the next one, and then come back. So to begin with, we're going to take our glue dots and we're going to attach them to each corner. And I'll explain that as I glue why, but I found this really helps. So we're going to put one on this corner and one on this corner. And really it's just acting as an anchor for your paper while your glue dries. Then I'm going to grab the green glue, and you don't need a lot. Like, you don't want so much that's kind of squish out on you, but you do want to kind of catch the edges. And then some in the middle. This is larger than you need, so you don't have to spend a lot of time lining it up. So we're going to take this piece right here, and I'm lining it right against the black binding. So right against there. And I'm pushing it down all the way around. And those glue dots are catching those corners, which is sometimes hard to get the glue to behave there. Then I'm going to check and make sure that I have no glue coming around the outside. Otherwise, that's going to glue this closed on you. And I have just a little spot right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it will be enough to kind of make a mess of it. We're just going to grab a little scrap of paper. We'll grab my notes since they didn't even have everything on it you need. And we're just going to grab it like that. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to do the same thing one more time. If you're making a lot of these for gifts or to sell at a vendor table you're going to be doing, or a craft show, it's actually easier to do. Sometimes I do 5 in a row and then, get 5 done, do the same thing, and then come back. It lets the glue set up. Speaking of market and vendor shows, I wrap these in the Stampin' Up! Clear cello envelopes. I wrap everything in cello at a show, but they work really well for this. And again, I'm going to start at the edge. I'm going to go all the way around the outside. And I just went off the edge there. And I just want to make sure I have no glue up here to glue those pages shut. Can you tell I've done that before, so I'm a little more cautious? Again, my piece is bigger than I need. You want to pay attention if there's a direction to your paper. And we're going to set that down and do this. Making sure I have no glue coming out. Okay, let's go back to this one. This is now set. I'm going to trim it right next to the edge of the notebook. And the longer the snips you can take, the smoother your snips will be. So it doesn't look jagged. And I'm going all the way around, like so. So easy. There we go. Then we're going to do the same thing on the back. We're going to do 2 glue dots. This is where you want to pay attention if you're
print has a direction, like for example this one. When I do the back, I want to make sure that the print is going the correct direction. And like so. Our green glue again. And I buy a lot of these when I find them on sale. I buy them just because I go through a lot. I sell a lot, and we have some favorite littles in our life, and they love playing with these. There we go. That gets set down all the way around. Making sure I have no glue coming out the sides. I'll set that aside, and I kind of put it down so the glue, the weight in the notebook will also help, and we're just going to repeat. We will trim. So, trying, as I said, I try to trim it pretty close. Like this. This would be also a fun craft to do with kids. And again, they make great little gifts. I give them to my aunts. They like to have little notebooks around. And we'll do the back. A couple glue dots at each corner. And some glue. Nothing about this little craft is hard. So again, it would be something kids could do. The spine just takes a couple steps, and I'll show you what I've learned about covering the spine. I didn't always cover the spine. Like if the paper went with black, I left it. But honestly, it looks a little more finished if you cover the spine. Okay, we'll let that one dry, and we'll go to this one. And then I'm just going to trim. Like so. You can see how quickly this goes. If you have scraps of paper already cut, it doesn't take long at all. Sometimes when I'm finishing up a project and I have some little pieces, I may even just cut what I need and set them aside, and then I'm ready for them. Okay, so we've talked about what we need for the front. We need two pieces that are 3 by 4 3/4. For the back, we need a piece that's 1.5 by 4 3/4. I tend to use a contrasting print. Sometimes it's the print that's on the back of the paper, and sometimes it's not. Typically from the same paper pack though. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab our tear and tape, and right where these two connect, I'm going to lay down a strip of tear and tape. Like so. Make sure that's down tight. And then I'm going to, trying to move so you can see, take off the backing. And then sometimes it's hard to get it straight, like you think you're straight and you're not. So this is how I use my grid paper. This is my dark black line that helps. I go 2 squares past it, which on grid paper is 1/2 inch. So here's the edge of my notebook, and it's 2 squares over a 1/2 inch past this black center line. I'm going to use that center line to line up my spine. See how it's a little longer? That makes it easier to line it up. Then we're going to put adhesive here, right down there, like so. Here's where the green glue comes back though. I have found that sometimes this can be kind of loose and you think you have it tight, but then there's a gap or something in here. So this is what I do. I run a little green glue along here. Oh, let's grab another green glue. I'm gonna run some down there and right here. If this is open, like on the bigger journals, I have another YouTube video I'll be doing that shows you how you do the large journals and add a ribbon. That's especially important there. So then this just comes like this. And then to help make sure it's tight, this is what I do. So I kind of rolled it on the back side and push so I can get a really tight edge. And then because this is sticky, I can just roll that back over, and now I have a tight edge. Let's do that one more time. So we're going to trim the back piece. And again, this is why I do multiples. I'm letting this glue kind of set up before I trim. I rarely do one of these at a time. I don't know that I ever have. I always do them in multiples. Okay, so again, we're going to put adhesive here, right along where our paper met that black spine. I'm going to remove the backing. And I'm going to lay it a 1/2 inch, the edge of the notebook, the back edge, the back of the spine, a 1/2 inch past that black center line. This is helping me get the spine covering on straight. So I'm lining up my paper with this black line. Then I'm going to bring the tear and tape back. And I'm just eyeing it kind of the, against the edge of the notebook. It doesn't really matter if you go past, you're going to trim it anyway, but I'm going to remove that and add that green glue again. And I picked up the one that is empty. Maybe I should just toss that one so I don't keep picking it up. What do you think? There we go. And remember, I'm going to roll it over on the spine and just kind of push to get a sharp edge on that front. And then roll it here. And that's something I should point out. I always start on the front of the notebook. Depending on how wide the spine is or the width of your book, sometimes it goes farther towards the back or not. But to the back, it doesn't matter. Okay, so all we have left is to trim. And I'm just going along the top of there. Like so. That one is done. We have not been at this very long and we have 2 notebooks covered. I did have the pieces cut ahead of time, but that takes no time at all. Again, I sometimes, if I'm in the middle of a project, I keep the measurements I need for a lot of these 3D projects that I make and sell above my work table, and if I have scraps, I know what size to cut them to. So we went from something like this, cute, functional, to very nice and equally as functional. I hope you found this helpful. If you liked what you saw, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe on my YouTube video. Until next time, take care, stay well, and keep creating. It's good for you.